อต้อนรับทุกท่านเข้าสู่งานสัมมนาเชิงปฏิบัติการความเป็นไปได้ในการนำบล็อกเชนมาใช้สำหรับระบบติดตามแหล่งที่มาของพลอยสีไทยภายใต้โครงการการศึกษาระบบการสำแดงและติดตามแหล่งที่มาของพลอยสีไทยจัดโดยสถาบันวิจัยและพัฒนาอัญมณีและเครื่องประดับแห่งชาติองค์การมหาชนร่วมกับบริษัท bolliger & company ประเทศไทยดิฉันนางสาวชลินทร์ กัญจรัตน์รับหน้าที่เป็นพิธีกรในวันนี้ค่ะก่อนจะนำทุกท่านเข้าสู่งานสัมมนาดิฉันขอประชาสัมพันธ์กิจกรรมภายในงาน Bangkok Gems and Jewelry ของทางสถาบันดังนี้ค่ะสถาบันได้จัดนิทรรศการ Gem Treasure ซึ่งเป็นการจัดแสดงเครื่องประดับที่สถาบันได้ลงไปพัฒนาการออกแบบร่วมกับผู้ประกอบการท้องถิ่นในจังหวัดต่างๆเพื่อส่งเสริมวิสาหกิจชุมชนให้มีความเข้มแข็งโดยจัดแสดงบริเวณทางเข้าอาคาร Challenger 2 สำหรับท่านใดต้องการตรวจสอบคุณภาพอัญมณีและเครื่องประดับขอเรียนเชิญที่ Challenger Hall 3 บูธ C2 46 และ D135 นอกจากกิจกรรมภายในงาน Bangkok Gems and Jewelry แล้วทางสถาบันยังมีการจัดงานสัมมนาและงานนิทรรศการถ่ายทอดผลงานวิจัยโครงการปัจจัยทางสังคมและวัฒนธรรมที่มีอิทธิพลต่ออัตลักษณ์เครื่องประดับไทยร่วมสมัยการพัฒนาอัตลักษณ์เครื่องประดับไทยเพื่อพัฒนาธุรกิจด้านเครื่องประดับเชิงวัฒนธรรมท้องถิ่นในวันพุธที่ 11 มีนาคม 2563 ณ ห้องมณีจันทร์ 2 โรงแรมมณีจันทร์รีสอร์ทจังหวัดจันทบุรีและงานสัมมนาถ่ายทอดองค์ความรู้โครงการการพัฒนามาตรฐานห้องปฏิบัติการและมาตรฐานสินค้าอัญมณีและเครื่องประดับเพื่อสร้างความมั่นใจในการซื้อขายและยกระดับมาตรฐานการค้าอัญมณีและเครื่องประดับของจังหวัดจันทบุรีสู่การเป็นนครอัญมณีในวันพฤหัสบดีที่ 12 มีนาคม 2563 ณ ห้องแกรนด์ 2 โรงแรม New Travel Lodge จังหวัดจันทบุรีสอบถามรายละเอียดเพิ่มเติมหรือลงทะเบียนเข้าร่วมงานได้ที่จุดลงทะเบียนหน้าห้องงานสัมมนานะคะเพื่อไม่ให้เป็นการเสียเวลาค่ะดิฉันขอเรียนเชิญท่านดวงกมลเจียมบุตรผู้อำนวยการสถาบันวิจัยและพัฒนาอัญมณีและเครื่องประดับแห่งชาติมอบของที่ระลึกแก่วิทยากรของเราในวันนี้ขอเรียนเชิญดร.รัชดาเจียสกุลประธานเจ้าหน้าที่บริหารบริษัท bolliger & company ประเทศไทยค่ะ
ของพลอยสีนะฮะซึ่งก็คือเรื่องของการทำ traceability ของพลอยสีไทยนะฮะเราได้ศึกษามาตั้งแต่เดือนมิถุนาปีที่แล้วนะฮะก็ผ่านมาก็จะเกือบจะครบจะจบโครงการละนะฮะในส่วนของการจัดเวิร์กช็อปวันนี้เป็นผลจากการที่เราได้ทำการศึกษาไปครึ่งทางแล้วเราพบว่าตัวระบบprovenance proof ของกูบลินเนี่ยเป็นตัวระบบที่น่าจะเป็นประโยชน์สำหรับการช่วยในการยกระดับอุตสาหกรรมของประเทศไทยนะฮะในภาพของการความรู้ความเข้าใจเกี่ยวกับการใช้เครื่องมือทางเทคโนโลยีนะฮะให้เป็นประโยชน์กับการทำ traceability และในขณะเดียวกันเราก็จะดูแบบมีความ advanced ทางเทคนิคนะฮะเพราะตลอดโครงการเนี่ยเรามีโอกาสไปศึกษาว่าถ้าประเทศไทยจะทำ traceability ให้ดีเนี่ยมันมีวิธีการทำ traceability อย่างไรนะฮะสเปกตรัมคือเอาออกกฎหมายเลยไหมนะฮะจนไปถึงทำด้วยความสมัครใจแต่ตรงกลางของสเปกตรัมเนี่ยคือการนำเทคโนโลยีมาใช้นะฮะโครงการนี้เราได้นำเสนอผลการศึกษาไปในงานสัมมนาใหญ่ไปแล้วนะฮะวันนี้เป็น follow up ของงานสัมมนาใหญ่นี้และไฮไลท์ของวันนี้ก็คือการที่คุณ Clemens Link ซึ่งเป็นผู้ที่ก่อตั้งและเริ่มพัฒนาตัวแพลตฟอร์มนี้มาให้กับบริษัทกูบลินเองเนี่ยนะฮะวันนี้ท่านมาเพื่อจะมาทำเวิร์กช็อปกับท่านเองเลยเพราะฉะนั้นเนี่ยเราจะไม่ลงรายละเอียดเกี่ยวกับผลการศึกษาของโครงการเพราะเราพรีเซนต์ไปแล้วแล้วก็หลายท่านที่นั่งอยู่ตรงนี้ก็ได้ฟังไปแล้วนะฮะแต่ถ้าท่านมีคำถามอะไรท่านถามเราได้เลยนะฮะแล้วก็นอกเหนือจากถ้าท่านมีคำถามอะไรเนี่ยวันนี้การดำเนินการจัดเวิร์กช็อปจะเป็นภาษาอังกฤษดังนั้นหากท่านมีคำถามเป็นภาษาไทยเดี๋ยวทางทีมงานจะช่วยนำเสนอนะคะจะช่วยถามคำถามจะช่วยตอบคำถามด้วยได้นะฮะดังนั้นจะไม่แย่งเวทีคุณเคลเมนส์นะคะคุณชานนท์อาจจะช่วย go through ว่าวันนี้ท่านมีเอกสารอะไรอยู่ในมือแล้วเดี๋ยวท่านจะใช้เอกสารอะไรได้บ้างนะคะแล้วจะติดต่อกับเราอย่างไงเชิญค่ะ
ครับผมสำหรับเอกสารนะครับที่มีการเตรียม QR ไว้ให้โหลดชุดในหน้าห้องนะครับจะมีเอกสารประมาณ100 กว่าหน้านะครับเป็นผลการศึกษาที่เรานำเสนอในงานสัมมนาใหญ่เลยครับก็คืออยากให้ทุกท่านได้รับกลับไปอ่านได้นะครับแต่ว่าก็ไม่ใช่จุดประสงค์ของวันนี้อย่างที่ดร.รัชดาบอกนะครับจุดประสงค์ของงานวันนี้คือการ walk through ตัวระบบ provenance proof โดยคุณเคลเมนต์นะครับฉะนั้นส่วนที่สำคัญนะครับคือช่วงท้ายๆของเอกสารเนี่ยนะครับมันจะมีตัวการ run trial ของระบบ provenance proof เป็นภาษาไทยนะครับเดี๋ยวผมจะขอข้ามไปหน้าประมาณ70เนี่ยครับมันจะเป็นการ walk through ของระบบติดตามนะครับว่าเราเนี่ยได้ลองทำเป็นเหมือนเอกสารเหมือนแมนนวลนะครับว่าตัวระบบมันทำอะไรได้บ้างนะครับแล้วก็มีขั้นตอนในการสร้างบัญชีไปจนถึงการใส่ข้อมูลพลอยต่างๆบนระบบนะครับการโอนกรรมสิทธิ์พลอยตั้งแต่ใส่ข้อมูลเริ่มต้นยันถึงโอนกรรมสิทธิ์ไปจนถึงผู้บริโภคปลายทางเนี่ยเป็นอย่างไรบ้างนะครับตรงนี้ถ้าทุกท่านลองศึกษาในช่วงหน้าท้ายๆเนี่ยก็จะช่วยให้เข้าใจตัวระบบได้ง่ายขึ้นจะได้พอทำ run walk through กับของคุณเคลเมนต์ก็จะรวดเร็วมากยิ่งขึ้นครับทั้งนี้นะครับถ้าเกิดมีคำถามอะไรทีมงานที่อยู่ข้างหน้าเนี่ยครับแล้วก็น้องๆในทีมเองก็สามารถถามได้นะครับก็จะพอช่วยให้คำตอบได้บ้างครับ
ค่ะก็จากจุดนี้ไปจะขออนุญาตดำเนินรายการเป็นภาษาอังกฤษนะฮะที่จะ I would like to also start up with the procedure that we have gone through. We have reached stakeholder in Chantaburi. We had arranged a seminar in Bangkok with attendees of around 100 people. After that, many of you have told us that it would be very useful if you can have your own username, start using the platform. So today is a good opportunity that we have Kun Clemens here. Kun Clemens started, developed this provenance proof platform, and he will talk about it, how he developed it, and how you can have your user interface and become a member, become a user of this platform. In the meantime, I have also advised GIT and also to Gubelin that GIT and Gubelin could have a very interesting partnership or to be a strategic partnership. And after being a great strategic partnership, both of them should have a good feedback loop. So GIT is taking input from you, from the industry, and can feedback to provenance proof platform. Yesterday we have feedback some user interface to Kun Clemens, and overnight he changed the user interface for us. So if you use the platform and have any input, you can also feed it through GIT. But apart from your feedback and feedback loop between GIT and Gubelin, I do believe that at this point, GIT is a good starting point for Thai industry, for Thai SME to input your stones and start the blockchain from GIT. And there's another possibility of cooperation, which is to have GIT as a KYC agent or to have as an identification agent for provenance proof platform as well. So without further ado, could I ask Kun Clement Link to present provenance proof platform?
Opportunity for inviting me. Thank you to the company of bolliger to facilitate this. It's a very great job. Yes, my name is Clemens. I am from the Google Gem Lab and I'm also from Provenance Proof. I'm responsible for research and development and now I'm more and more also responsible for what I will introduce to you today. I will sit down now and then I can talk into that. I have one question. I'm talking in English. If you have any problem understanding or if you want to know something in between, from my side, it is not any problem to interrupt me and to ask me right away if you want to. Otherwise, just ask afterwards, like you prefer. Thank you.
สวัสดีค่ะก็จะมาช่วยแปลให้นะคะถ้าเกิดว่ามีพาร์ทไหนที่รู้สึกว่าเร็วไปหรือว่าไม่เข้าใจอะไรเงี้ยค่ะสามารถยกมือได้เลยนะคะไม่ต้องเขินนะคะอันนี้คือจะมานั่งประจำเพื่อแปลให้เลยช่วยใช้งานด้วยนะคะค่ะช่วยที่ไม่เข้าใจค่ะ
Okay, so let's talk about provenance proof itself. Provenance proof is, I can sit down. Okay, provenance proof is an initiative actually which came from the Google Gem Lab to enable more transparency on the gemstone market, but transparency in a way which helps the industry. It's important not to decide what story, it's not my role to decide what story, what contents has to be transported. It's only we want to do what we know and we know a lot about gemstones, so we wanted to create technologies which enable transparency. That means what we want to do is we want to give to you technologies which allow your story for you to pass on with the gemstone in the industry. Should I just continue? Okay, I'll just continue. Okay, perfect. And there are different technologies. So there are physical technologies. You can put tracers on a gemstone and you can read out these tracers later on to see that they really came out of your hands. But there are also digital technologies. And today we're going to talk about the digital technologies. So the digital technology is often referred to as blockchain. But I would advise you, don't think about blockchain. Blockchain is confusing and it's complex. It's only a technology behind. When you use your smartphone, you're not interested in the program which makes it running, right? You're interested in that it is functioning well. So when I talk today about blockchain, keep in your mind what I'm talking about is only a logbook. It's a book, a personal notebook of a gemstone. From the beginning to all the way to the end consumer. We are only talking today about digital small logbooks which go with a gemstone. And you can write a story into it while you have the gemstone, if you want. Why actually do we do this? I can tell you why. Because some years ago, people came to us, more and more people came to us into the Gem Lab, and they asked us, can we show more than only what a traditional Gem Lab can do? Can we show the exact mine from where gemstone came? Can we show the cutting facility? Can we give more information? But we said, no, we cannot. As a gemological laboratory, we can only look at the scientific properties of a gemstone. So we turned it around. We said, let's develop technologies that enable tracking. We did this because the market demands for it. If the market wants this, then it's a good opportunity for the stakeholders. Not only for me, but it's a good opportunity for all of us sitting in the room to join, because the market at the end has the demand. And if they have a demand on a long term, we're talking about premium and about economy, right? So this is what we did 2 years ago, and 2 years ago we had the feeling the market would change, but now it changed. The market has changed. these are just some headlines I found last year, and you can see by now that nearly every large brand, every large jewelry brand has committed to more transparency, has committed to technology which enable transparency, has committed to use to blockchain. The RJC commits to more or supports more transparency. It's all based on things from the OECD and the UN. So the market has changed, but it doesn't have to fear us. We can give them what they want, and then we're part of the new market. And at the end, people always ask me, why actually is it more important to show more transparency? I think it is very easy actually to explain if you just go back to the base and if you go to the need, what the retailer needs to cater the needs of his consumer. And what do the consumers want? The consumers want more a story behind a jewelry piece, right? And we can give the stories, you can give the stories. Nearly every precious gemstone goes through Thailand because here's the cutting facilities, here's a lot of the trading hub. But this is something to show, this is something to demonstrate. The cutting is a piece of art. We should show it, we should not hide it. And at the end, we should not let it to the vendor to tell the story. No, we have to give them the tool that actually the buyer, the consumer, knows what the vendor is telling. He must trust. And this trust we can give through technology. If we give a logbook, a digital logbook, to the retailer, which he can pass on to the end consumer, where he is not telling the story, but where in the logbook you can read the story you wrote or we wrote as an industry, then it is a much more convincing argument for the retailer to pass on to the end consumer. And the end consumer at the same time will see the promotion of a country, of an initiative here. And it's a win-win situation in all cases. I think it's easy to understand actually. So, but the fact is, and it's not us who came up with this, it's a lot of statistics, it's a lot of economic surveys that has shown the credibility only comes with a proven transparency. That means telling a story itself is not efficient enough. There must be technology behind. And this technology, I think we're now discussing to implement. It's something we can offer. It's the provenance-proof blockchain. The provenance-proof blockchain, it started 2 years ago where something was, where it was very new and very exciting. And at that time already we figured out we cannot invent it ourselves. We are not technology companies. So what we had to do already then is we found out such an initiative can only grow through doing things together. Like we're sitting here now in partnership with GIT. At that time we already had a partnership also with technology providers. And this grew and grew and grew. So now the provenance-proof blockchain is nothing which belongs to my company. To the company I work for. It's something which we started with, but we give it to the industry, we give it back to you. People are joining as stakeholders, as partners, such as the GIT. And again, it's important, the provenance-proof blockchain, ignore the blockchain, it's a logbook, it's a single logbook to a gemstone, very, very secure though. And it is for every type of gemstone. You can take parcels, you can take melee stones, you can take diamonds, you can even take pearls, and even add metal into it if you want to. It's very simple to take. You only need a computer, you only need a smartphone once you're registered. You do not have to download any software, you do not have to take any app. It's all online application. And very important, it's a control, a permission-based visibility. I will come to that, but the reason for that is to protect you and us as stakeholders. And today, so this number maybe is already outdated, there are more and more companies joining. It's already now over, it's far above 160 companies using this initiative, working with this initiative. There are 10,000s of stones by now uploaded onto this blockchain. I don't know it myself indeed, because it's so private, I cannot see. Let's see if it works. Here's a small video. There is Thai written below, but I have to apologize. I heard that there are some spelling mistakes inside. I am sorry for that. Let's see if we... Oh, no. Let's see if we can make facilitate.
Provenance Proof Blockchain is a platform to track the entire chain of custody of colored gemstones. Today's consumers are more informed and express more often the desire to see the full value chain. The tracking technology of Provenance Proof Blockchain is open to everyone in the industry. Every miner, dealer, cutter, treater, gemlab, jeweler can register and can add and see the data relevant to his role. Here is how it works. Miner initiates the blockchain when selling a gemstone and handing it on to the dealer, who acknowledges receipt of the gemstone and hash, and eventually sells on to cutter. Then the gemstone goes to wholesaler, possibly to a gemlab, jeweler, and finally to the retailer. Retailer can access the entire history, showing his client the complete chain of custody. This enhances the authenticity of his statements and boosts his credibility. The digital logbook is safe and reliable because entries are verified before being recorded in the logbook. Person only needs a smartphone to create, forward, continue and see data in the blockchain. No paperwork, no hassle. Large companies can upload automatically standardized sets of data from their computers to the blockchain. The person having the gemstone physically has the option to add text, film footage, etc. about the gemstone and see the previously recorded data. When forwarding the gemstone, he also forwards the exclusive right to add data and see data. And the best part? It's free to use Provenance Proof Blockchain. None of the stakeholders along the value chain have to pay for registering, uploading, and seeing data. For more information and onboarding, see www.provenanceproof.io or contact us at info@provenanceproof.com.
Thank you. So this video is also visible on our homepage, but also on YouTube if you want to. So let's come back to actually the blockchain itself. I said it's nothing more than a storybook of a gemstone. So when a gemstone story starts, the book to the gemstone starts. Normally, of course, a story starts in the mine. So the best place to start this book is in the mine. But it doesn't mean that it doesn't make sense to start a book later. At any stage, it makes sense to start with the blockchain. That means here in Thailand, definitely, if the information of a mine is not given in the blockchain, the story should start with you here in Thailand, if it is in the cutting facility or if it is even thereafter. This is where it starts, this is where the tracking starts. The more tracking afterwards is inside, the more the brand at the end is happy to have and to pass on. So normally these are, of course, the typical stakeholders involved. Sorry. I was looking for the laser pointer, I guess. No. There we go. Is it? No?
It moved.
It moved?
Yeah.
There we go. I was just looking for... Let's try this button. Yes. There we go. Perfect. So these are the typical stakeholders. But now, being here in the special market, I think we're mostly looking at traders, cutters, gem labs, and maybe jewelry producers. So today I would like to give you also an introduction, a deep introduction into the blockchain, to show you how it works actually. Of course, if you don't understand everything, don't worry. Contact me, contact the GT. Sorry, it's GIT. I know. Sorry. I apologize. Or go onto the homepage. There are a lot of tutorials you can find. But it's very easy. I want you to see how simple it is to actually use, and just by trying out. Okay. So actually, like I said, anybody in the supply chain can start the logbook. This is very important, but I want to emphasize it. Why is it important? Because it's also important if you don't feel comfortable to start the blockchain for various reasons. Maybe you have good reasons. Maybe you know your supplier does not want to expose or, you know, the people in the blockchain, in the trade, in the supply chain. Then it is also okay. Anybody can start it. That means you can also ask your laboratory to start it. Good. And this is, we will come to that role later. So obviously, often a miner can start a logbook and he passes it on. And every time the stone is passed on from one custodian to the next one, from one stakeholder to the next one, this is the time where actually a new chapter is written in this logbook. Every time it is passed on, a new chapter is written. And we took care of the technology behind it. You don't have to worry about it. You just have to write your chapter and pass it on to the next stakeholder. You pass it on all the way to the jeweler and all the way to the end consumer. And this is very valuable because it is your platform to present your story to the end consumer, who will then afterwards demand for more without anybody changing the story how you want to tell it. Of course, paperwork doesn't work today anymore. We're working and we're living in a digital world. And of course, you don't want to write on the computer, on my computer, or on somebody else's computer. You want to write somewhere on a more decentralized way. You want to anywhere on earth. You want to have access anywhere on earth. You want to be able to write and to write into this blockchain. So we need a decentralized system, a digital decentralized system that enables access everywhere. Of course, this decentralized system has to exchange information in case one of the servers is off. The information must be stored, of course. A gemstone is forever. The information behind it, the logbook, must last forever too. And this is very important. I put a stamp here. It stands for something like a timestamp. When you made your entry, when you wrote your chapter, you want to ensure that it must not change anymore. Nobody afterwards in the story should be able to change what you have written, because that is what you wanted to say. And this is ensured by a timestamp, a stamp that shows this entry was done at this specific date. If it is a laboratory, if it is us, if it is you, but once you have written it, there is a stamp on top and nothing can be changed anymore. And to be honest, this technology, what we need here, this is what blockchain can provide. It is the hashtag, actually. It's nothing but a timestamp. And this is the only reason. So to have a decentralized system storing at a very secure level with a high encryption that people cannot decode what you are reading and what you're writing. This is the only reason why we built this with blockchain technology. So don't worry about blockchain. It's only enabling the features we need for a very stable logbook. And of course, now we're talking about gemstones. Gemstones, the supply chain of gemstones has some very specific features which we have to cater, such as what happens if you work with a rough gemstone, a big emerald, and you go to a cutting facility. If you're a professional business, you know one rough gemstone can end up in 5 or even more cut gemstones. That means our blockchain system, our book, must be able to split in between. And it can. I will show you how. Or what happens is sometimes you don't want to trade one stone by one stone by one stone. You're working with melee, you're working maybe with 50, with 500 pieces at once, which you sell to a wholesaler, which you sell to a jewelry brand, to a watchmaker company. Of course, you can work in batches. Of course, you can transfer entire parcels. You can receive parcels. You can split parcels. You can merge them. You can do whatever you need to do. It is not you must change. It is the system must fit to the needs of the industry. And this is a good thing. It comes out of the industry. So I think it does cater most of the requirements. So it's what I said, actually. The decentralized system, this is important. This is what blockchain brings. And it's a permitted community-controlled ledger. What does that mean? It means that you have to register once. We all have to register once. The GIT has to register once. And the only reason for that is to bring more confidence into it. If you register, of course, with your name. And then there will be a what we call KYC process. It's just the normal same procedures if you would open an account for your mobile phone or something. But this is only once to give you an account, to give you access in the system. Nobody thereafter, nobody in the entire supply chain will have the possibility to see your private data from then on. This is private, this is yours. Same for me, the same for every user. Blockchain enables to write data in a very highly encrypted way. That means what you have written there is stored maybe somewhere decentralized at IBM, at Amazon servers, yes, but it's stored in such an encrypted way that even if people could access the data, they will not be able to read it, and they will not know from who it comes, because your personal information is not linked to it. So the encryption is at the highest level there is. At the same time, I was talking about the hashtag. This is something very specific blockchains bring along, and it is the best possible timestamp there is for digital information. That means once you have written something, blockchain technology enables to give a safe timestamp onto your information. And it is scalable. That means you can deal with thousands of stones at once, and all of you can deal with thousands of stones at once, and the system will manage it. And again, it's very easy to apply. Smartphone is enough, PC is enough, no software, no nothing. Now, the special thing about the provenance proof book, the provenance proof blockchain, is it doesn't exclude anyone, from the smallest operation, because you only need internet access, all the way to big operations. If you run a big company and you have a big inventory system, there are solutions that you don't have to work manually through each and every stone. We try to enable also for ourselves, for GIT, for big companies to make it easy to connect it to SAP systems or similar. But at the same time, if you're only a one-person company, you should not fear. It's even easier, it's even more convenient than to use it. It takes 3 minutes to upload a new gemstone. It takes 30 seconds to pass the gemstone to the next stakeholder in the industry, if this other stakeholder is registered. Very important, I didn't talk about it, it's for free to everyone. It was donated by the family of Gübelin, and they also donated before. It's a tradition of donating reference stone samples to other gemological laboratories. So now they donated this blockchain to the industry. It is an industry platform. It's not a Gübelin-owned platform. They pass it on. There's a supervisory board on top, which is now being implemented. These are people invited from the industry, from beyond the industry, from politics, from universities. There will be a chance for GIT to join. And they will guard over everything. So it is, the responsibility is shared. It belongs to the industry. And very important is there is a fine balance between, we're talking about transparency, right? But at the same time, we are all in the same industry. We know that privacy, there are good reasons for privacy. Privacy is important because of security. Privacy is important because of our unique selling points. So there's a fine line. Let me talk a little bit about this privacy. The privacy is guaranteed in such a way that all the information can only be seen about one stone. That means it is always focused on one stone, like a notebook to a single stone. If you enter information about 20 stones and you pass on one stone to the next person, this person can only read the information of this one single stone and not more. and only for the time he or she holds the stone in his or her hand. In the moment the stone is passed on to the next one, the person doesn't have access anymore. That means if I sell you a stone, you cannot, by no chance, it's technically not possible to see what I have in my vault, what other stones I have in my vault. But I can also not see what you do with the stone I had before. It's always private, it's always closed, but the transparency is there for the one stone that if you hold it in your hand, you can read the history of this one stone. It's very important to understand. Nobody can look into your inventory. Nobody can look into what you hold, in what you do, what trade you have, what size. This is private to you. It's not a business of anybody else, and this does not support insight in that. It's only about the one single stone. The view is only on one stone. And again, I said it's easy to use. And yes, it's by now I can say I feel very good to talk about this and to recommend to use it because it's used. It's out there for over a year, out of the proof of concept. It's applied. It's 160 plus companies using it every day. So I feel very comfortable to say that it seems to be a very stable system. So I think I talked about now very specific questions already in the Thai industry. I think privacy, of course, is very specific, very special for trading industry, for the trading stakeholders. But, as I said, it is given. Nobody can access, nobody can look into you. Nobody, even if people would come to me and say, we have to see what this person is doing in trading, my answer would be there is no technological solution to enable this. Oh, there's a spelling mistake. Do you have to register? I excuse for this. That's a very important point. Of course you can register, of course you can use it as a primary stakeholder. If you deal with stones and if you want to pass on the information, you can add the information, you can enter the information. But if you don't feel comfortable doing this, there are also other solutions. There is a Thailand-specific solution which we developed together with the GIT and together with a bolliger company, we try to enable this for you, even if you say it's too complex or you have other reasons not to use it. What you can do is you can use the service of GIT to enter the stone for you, and then you're not involved. But the good thing is, you're not involved, but your stone has a logbook. And if you pass on the stone then to the next stakeholder, if you sell it, and still you can offer this person, even if you said you yourself cannot be involved, even though it's very easy to be involved, but you can still offer the logbook to the gemstone by saying, but there is a logbook started, and if you want to have it, I can contact my laboratory, the GIT, and they will pass it on to you. Okay. And is a trader name visible for others? This is a very important question because trader names, often traders don't want to show their names, and often the person who buys from a trader does not want to expose his source, right? That's part of our industry. That's nothing bad. That's an asset. Of course, trader names are confidential. Of course, you are not shown unless you specifically want to be seen and the person who buys from you specifically wants to show you. There's an option, of course, but by default, it's anonymous. It's about the stone. It's about the stone history. It's not about the people behind it. So, no visibility of your name or of anybody, of the name you buy from. Well, will the international market acknowledge what you do? Yes. Of course, because they're asking already. As I said, the big brands are asking for it. The big brands want to see it. The big brands want to have the story in an easy, accessible way, so in a digital way. So obviously, maybe by now it's only to join, to be present, to make a stone more attractive for a big brand. But later on, there's the question of still being in the game, of supplying big brands, because they more and more become restrictive in buying gemstones. And at the same time, don't forget, banks and insurances are always very interested in seeing what kind of assets you bring along. And if you want to, and you give the transparency to them, they can see the entire history of the gemstone, the value of the gemstone, well, not the money-wise value, but of course they see the gemological reports about it, they see the source, they see if it is treated, and so on. So the bankability and the insuranceability for your clients or for you increases, of course, through provable trackability and transparency. At the end, transparency for every stakeholder is always about profits. It's about supporting storytelling. It's about having an advantage or a premium right now, but as I said, later on, it's maybe still to stay in the game, not only for you, also for the gem labs like us. This is why we went this step. And maybe I shouldn't say, but of course it can reduce your costs too, because you don't need to come to Googlin or any other gem lab every time you sell and you trade it, because the gemological reports are connected digitally, if you want, to the asset in the blockchain. So you do save money. You do have more reliability in the documentation of your gemstones. And yeah, I mentioned. So now, after giving this introduction into what we're doing, the principle, framework of this offer, let's look into the blockchain, okay? I think time-wise we're okay? Okay, perfect. So now I will show you how it looks like. I will show you screenshots of the blockchain. I was a little bit hesitating to do it live here because live demos never work as they should work. So I decided to do screenshots. But they are all just either from a mobile phone or from the PC. So I will focus on the first step, which is the registration. You all have a QR code on a card on your desk, or there's a small card with QR codes in front at the registration. Use it if you want to, and you will land on the registration site. It's very easy to fill out, it's straightforward, and all this information will not be stored on the blockchain. It will not be visible with the gemstone. It's your private. It's only to give you access once. If you are just a one-person company, and you say, I don't really have a company name, then either you take your personal name as a company name, because company is mandatory to fill out, or you just make a dash, or you just make an A, and then we know it's just, it's just a very small company. But if you're a very small company or a one-person trader, there's no reason not to register. It is open to everyone. Then I will talk about how to create an asset, meaning how to upload gemstones into the logbook, how to start this logbook. Then we will talk a little bit about the cutting. This is a little bit complex, but Thailand, Bangkok is a cutting hub, so it's very interesting to see what you can do and how it looks like thereafter. And we will also talk about jewelry creating, so what a manufacturer can do with the information you add on to show you what the value is at the end, which then can be passed on as a retailer to the end consumer. Very important, this logbook is not only B2B, business to business, but it is also business to the end consumer. Okay, everything starts with a homepage called provenanceproof.io. If you Google provenance proof, you will land automatically. The next link will be here. And you will land here. This is the registration page. You just fill out. It's very simple. It's your first name, it's your last name. Phone number is not even mandatory. Only the things with the stars are mandatory. It's an email address. Very important. Your login, not your password, but your login is your email address. And I must emphasize, unfortunately, it's the way you enter it here. That means if you only use small letters here, make sure you only use small letters thereafter to log in into your account. And this is what I said, so it's the country where you work in, the service country, and the company name. If you don't have a company behind it, if you're one person, just put a letter or something here, repeat your name, and then you have to choose your role. You can, it's more like what is your major role? Are you a trader? Are you a cutter? If you're a trader who also cuts, I would recommend to you to sign up as a cutter. A cutter can do what a trader can do, but a trader cannot do always what a cutter can do. So a cutter can modify the outside, the appearance of a gemstone. But of course a cutter trades as well. Or you can choose to be a jewelry producer, manufacturer, and so on. Down here you can also, you have to agree of course to the privacy policy and to the terms of conditions, meaning that you are always honest in what you're doing basically. Once you're signed up, you will receive an email. It takes about 24 hours and a link where you can just enter your own inventory. You can change your password right away. You will receive an initial password and then you can have your personal password from then on. If you need some more help, there's a user guide, or just write an email to my team and we will reply. This is how the login looks like. You enter your email address. Don't forget, exactly the way how you registered. You enter your password, you say log in, and this is actually it. It's very simple. You always work with an inventory. So this is the inventory. This is your inventory. You can have an inventory for single gemstones. You can have an inventory for entire parcels. Maybe you bought them as parcels, then you received them as parcels, or maybe you also need an inventory for jewelry. You will receive anyhow all three inventories. This is your platform with what you work with. At the beginning, once you register, it's empty, of course. So maybe you want to add a new stone. It's very trivial. Everything is explained in steps on the homepage. So obviously, you press add a new stone to add a new stone into your inventory. You can do this with the PC or with the mobile phone. Once you press, this is what will appear. There will be a 4-step guidance, and you can see up here, the process is always guided. It will tell you which will come next. So you will start with the stone information. Stone information is very important. You have to fill out a lot of mandatory fields there, because this also helps the next person to re-identify that the stone he holds in his hand belongs really to the information you entered. And then there's also a section for lab information, for additional information, for tracer information. If you want to or not, you can skip those. But stone information is mandatory. What you always have to do is you always have to upload an image. It's like, in our world, it's like for gemological reports, the optical appearance is the first recognition point for a gemstone. It's very easy. If you work with a smartphone, you do like this, click, and you upload the image to here. That's it. If you work with a PC, you just click in here and you will be in your inventory. So you just click here and you will be in your inventory. You just mark the image you want to upload. It takes some seconds and it will be uploaded. Then thereafter you fill out if it is rough or if it is faceted. If you work with a rough stone, of course you don't have to enter any dimensions. If you work with a faceted stone, you have to enter the dimensions. If you don't know them, you can ask a laboratory to measure them precisely, but obviously I think we all work with the standard parameters for gemstones, which is weight and dimensions. And this is also important. Here's a mandatory thing. So you fill out the length, the height, and the width. You will enter the carat weight or gram. For in rough, sometimes it is more convenient to enter in gram. You can enter either, and then you can put it in the way you want to. And obviously, you also have fields like name of mine, mining operation. If you don't know that because you're not a miner, you don't have to fill it out. You keep it open, or you say not applicable or unknown. Of course. You even have a field to enter treatment. It's not a mandatory field, but if you know the treatment and if you want to show it in a trusted way, you can enter it here. And it's free text, so if it is low temperature heat treatment, if it is oiling for emeralds, whatever it is, you just fill it out. And once you filled out everything, you just press next, and you will move on to you will move on to the next section. The next section is laboratory information. Now, if you don't want to ask a laboratory to fill this out for you, of course you can fill out yourself. That means you give the stone to a laboratory such as yours, you can give it to a laboratory such as mine, you can give it to our competitors. It doesn't belong to us, it's an industry. That means you can upload any gemological laboratory report you want to. You can also ask any laboratory to fill it out. The GIT is now going into it and doing it in a very good partnership. I would recommend you to go to them, but definitely it's a trade, it's an industry. You can thereafter go to any other laboratory you want to and ask them for the same. You can enter the GEM report ID, you can upload the report. I've done this, for example, now. I uploaded the GIT sample report in here, but you could also upload any other. And you can refill out the information here if you want to, which is stated on the report. If you don't want to, because it's too much work, you just leave it free. You look through, and then you go to next. And then you see, now you enter the stone information, lab information. If you want additional information, that is something very interesting for any stakeholder. If you think you have a special story which you want to pass on to your end consumer, if you're a cutter, if you're a miner, if you're a jewelry producer, if you're a trader, no matter, if you think you have a special story you want to tell, because it adds on value also for you and helps you to work out a unique selling point, then this is the place. This is your commercial platform. You can upload images and videos of your proceeding. If you cut a gemstone, you maybe want to show the facility that you are RJC conform or whatever. You can mention it here. If you are audited, if you are ISO conform, this is the place where you can put it. This is the place. If you have a family story to tell, if you're sixth generation, if you're organization which exists since 20 years, you can put it here. You can put some organization information, and you can put some web page here or social media links as well, that people can easily come to your homepage. But if you don't want to, you just leave it free and you press next, and then you will be in tracer information. Again, it's a completely voluntary field, but maybe you want to add on tracer technologies. Maybe you have a QR code linked to your stone. Maybe you have a sealed package linked to your gemstone. This is where you can add on the information about what kind of system you use, and of course a reference number or whatever, you can link it here. Then of course it's very valuable. Let's say you use a QR code, you use a specific code on your stone, you have it in your blockchain. You have what I would call the physical anchor between the physical good and the digital information. It can be very valuable, very convincing. But again, it's a voluntary thing to use. If you're happy with that, now you don't press next, you press preview, because it will give you the chance to review everything that you have entered. So now you see, this is the image you have done. Maybe if you uploaded a report, you will see the report here as well. And all the images you have uploaded, you can look into the stone information you entered, into all the specific fields if you want to, check if it is all correct. If not, you just go back and change it until you're happy. And once you're happy, you press submit. Very important, once you press submit, you gave it to the blockchain. That means there is a timestamp on top. That means you cannot change it anymore thereafter. It's now secured. As long as the stone is in your possession, you can, let's say, change it by re-entering information. But it's important to understand that once it is submitted, it is out and the timestamp is on top. Especially now, after passing it on, nobody can change the information you added into it. And now, now the information will come that you submitted successfully a gemstone into your inventory, and if you now go onto your inventory, you will see the gemstone in your inventory in a digital way. So you created now the logbook for the specific gemstone. There's no limitation. You can do thousands of them if you want to. We also provide a tool for free, of course, too, that if you have an inventory of thousands of gemstones already, of course you don't have to do this once by once. You can make a CSV file, an Excel sheet, and you can import the stones in big batches. That makes it very convenient. So you can create 1,000 of these assets within 1 hour. Okay, now you can do that with cut stones, you can do that with rough stones. It doesn't play a role. But now let's see what happens to transfer. So obviously it's about trading. We want to pass the gemstone on from one to another one. That means I want to give my logbook from one to another one. All he needs is, he needs to have such an account. And then it's very easy. You click transfer, and that's basically it. You fill out the email address of the person who buys it, and you press transfer, and finish. Now you will receive a message that my partner has received the gemstone. If he's not registered, this note will not come. It will say the person is not yet registered, but this email address then will automatically receive an invitation. It says you bought or you receive an asset, but to receive the asset in a digital way, please register here. Once the person registered, it will automatically have the new asset in his inventory, and of course it will disappear in your inventory. At the same time, you also receive an email saying that you had a successful transfer, and the other person receives an email that he also received a new asset. So this is the email then someone will receive. And now if you look into your inventories, it's empty. Maybe if you have some time, let's look into parcels, because in the wholesale, often we don't deal with single stones, we deal with parcels, right? To upload parcels, there are two possibilities. One is we can create a parcel just by uploading it exactly the same way how we upload a single stone. We can upload a parcel in exactly the way. You have exactly the same field. So what you do is you start with an image. By the way, you can upload 2 or 3 images of your stone. There is no big limitation there. Or you can even upload a video. Video of 160 degrees or whatever. There is a slight limitation, of course, because if it grows too big, it takes too long to be transported onto the blockchain. But you will find out, it will tell you if data is too big or not. Okay, so the special thing about parcels is one mandatory field is that you have to enter the number of gemstones. This is a little bit inconvenient, but I think it's important. If your parcel has even 100 gemstones, you have to count them through. Then you have to upload your image, and you can fill out. It can be mixed, it can be special gemstones, whatever. You have to give the total weight, and so on. And you do it exactly the same way, and then the parcel will appear Now you cannot see, but if you click on parcels, you will see the parcel then uploaded. What I wanted to show you is a second way to create parcels. Let's say you have 100 gemstones, single gemstones, and you want to sell them to the same person. Of course, you don't have to create transfer. What you can do is very convenient. You can go into your inventory. Now you can see 1, 2, 3, 4 stones in my inventory, and I want to pass on these 3 stones. You just click them, just by click, and you say, create a parcel. And then it will automatically merge them together as a parcel that you can pass on the bucket just like that. It says create a parcel, or you can even add on stones to parcels. And then it's the same. You have your guided way through. You can add on information, but basically if you added this information, you don't have to repeat it. You just press next step, and you can add on an image if you want to of the parcel of all 3 stones together, but you don't have to in this case. Give the total weight. The total weight will be calculated now because you entered it as single stones anyhow. It's very convenient. It goes very fast. You have the chance again to preview. If you preview, now you're in your parcel inventory and you can see both parcels are inside. And if you want to transfer them, very simple, exactly the same way. You just click transfer, put the email address, and the entire parcel will move on to the next stakeholder. It's very simple. Now, but also if you want to look, if you have your inventory, you're not sure about this single stone anymore, you just go into view and you will see the information of the single stones listed inside. And you can again go into view if you want to, and you will see the single information of each and every single stone. Okay, but now you transfer it, let's say, you transfer some rough stones, for example, to a cutter. So it's exactly the same way. You enter, you receive your address, and the parcels will disappear. So now I showed you what you can do as a trader. You can upload gemstones, you can create those books, you can upload single stones, you can upload parcels, you can transfer them, you can sell them. Now it's also very interesting, maybe you want to see what a cutter can do. A cutter normally but not always, starts with a rough gemstone. It doesn't play a role for the blockchain if you recut a cut gemstone, faceted gemstone, or if you start with a rough. It doesn't play a role if you cut it into 5 pieces or 1 piece. It doesn't play a role, of course, if you do a faceted gemstone or a cabochon or whatever. You can do what you want and you can enter it the way. So what you do is you view and you add on information. Cutting is adding on information to a gemstone. And then you have you see it's a parent gemstone, and if you want to cut it, you add a new, we call it child stone. And if you add 2 or 3 stones out of it, you repeat this process as many times until you have all of them inside. Okay, now as a cutter, it's a little bit more complex because there's one more step. You have to re-upload an image of the stone before cutting. You have to upload an image after cutting. So you do this after you finalize your cut. You can also upload a video of the cutting process if you want to, if you think that's a special asset, because don't forget, end consumers, they don't really know what it means to cut a gemstone. They don't know how much work there is behind. But if you add it in here, the retailer can add on this information. And I can tell you out of my experience, they love this information, and the consumer loves to see how a gemstone transfers from a rough to the beauty it is. You add on then the new information. You add on the new height, the new weight, the new dimensions. You can say if it is faceted, but if you go into there, you can also give specific, you can say if it's a cushion style and so on. You can enter all the information you want. You have to re-enter if it's transparent or not. Transparency can change. Color can change through cutting. You have to fill this out again. And then basically it's exactly the same again as you have seen. And then you just press next. Of course, you can add on your commercial information as well as a cutter. It's even maybe a very exciting thing to do. And then once you're done, you can preview. You can see an image of the rough. And if you click here, you can see the image, the new image of a cut. And then you can see now the image of the cut. And you save it. And, sorry, maybe this we don't need. Well, maybe, okay. And you save it. And then now the rough will disappear out of your inventory because it's not there anymore, but the new cut faceted gemstone will be in your inventory. If you look now into the history of it, this is what you will see and this is what the next person will see too. So what you can see is, you can see now, if you go into inventory and you click on the stone, you can see the parent gemstone information. That means you can see the history in your logbook. You can see how the rough looked like. And you can see now that is, and you can then see also the information you added onto it. Sorry, the slide here is mixed up. But now, if you want to cut more than one stone out of it, very easy. At this stage, you will be asked if you cut multiple stones. So you do exactly the same process again for every stone you cut out of one rough. Once you're finished, so yes, here's the second one. You submit it again, and now you're in your inventory and you see that out of one rough, you don't have the rough, of course, in your inventory anymore, but you have 2 cut stones with less weight altogether. If you now want to press view, you see what I was talking about. You see the transformation from a rough to the new gemstone. And of course, this is a very exciting piece of information. We should not underestimate. This is for the first time an end consumer actually can see not only the source, not only the country from where a gemstone came from, but it can see also the added value in between in the supply chain. It can see that maybe cutting is a much bigger technical added value than they would expect. And this is a story which is liked. And now you can see here, so this is what they will see. This is why I'm talking about a logbook. This is the chapter you wrote. But if you click here, you see the chapter of the person before you. You can see that it was a rough. If you click here, if it was entered in a mine, for example, you can see the information the miner entered. But you cannot change it anymore. It is written by the miner. So it's like your chapter is written by yourself. You can look at it, but you cannot change it. Okay. So now I was talking about the trader functions. I was talking about what a cutter can do. So now let's look into the functions a jeweler can do with the information you added on. Or maybe you're even involved in jewelry manufacturing. This is where it becomes very valuable. A jewelry piece belongs to the story of a gemstone, right? The gemstone is part of a jewelry piece. It's maybe the central part of a jewelry piece. That means for the end consumer, he or she doesn't only want to know the story about the gemstone, but also the story of the jewelry piece, the jewelry manufacturing. And the jewelry manufacturing has the possibility to write their chapter into the logbook, which then is passed on to the end consumer. For you, this is very important, because for the jewelry industry, it is very attractive to use it, to have a platform to tell their story. But the good thing is, your story is involved in their story. So let's look how it works. So obviously, they need to start with gemstones which you sell to them. And if you sell it to them, it will be in their inventory. Now maybe they received it as a parcel. You re-recognize this parcel of 3. They want to make a jewelry piece out of these 3. It's very simple. They can look at their parcels, of course. They can see the information. Now we're looking at this one, not at this one. So the red circle should be here. And they can see all the information. If they want to now work with only the stone, very simple. They can just press separate assets. They can look at it. It's again a very simple process, because you can choose either you separate one stone out of the asset or you separate all of the stones out of the assets. Once you separate stones out of a parcel, they will appear as single stones in here. So you say, I would like to remove this stone, and you submit, and then it's successful. You can see that one stone is in your inventory. And if you only remove one stone, then the 2 other stones will be in the parcel. But now, for demonstration reasons here, I separated all 3 of them, because I want to show you the next function only a jewelry manufacturer can do. So, let's say he wants to create a jewelry piece with those 3 stones. You click the 3 stones, you click Create Jewelry, and then you will be in the same process again, same style of process. There will be a guided process. You can see it's much longer and it's more complex than what a trader can do. But why is it? Because a jewelry manufacturer has more steps and more things to tell. They're talking about design. They're talking about inspiration maybe. They're talking also about additional gemstones. They want to use diamond melee, so they want to add on all this information. They're also talking not only about gemstones, they're also talking about metals. So what you can see here is the first platform where not only gemstones, but also gold, silver, white gold can be added. This is the place. We will come to that. They can add it, and a jeweler, very important, nearly always wants to give information about themselves, because they sell a jewelry piece as their brand. So they need a lot of space also for branding. But now let's start. They start with jewelry information. Oops, oh, sorry. What happened now? Yes. Okay. So, is it? Yes. So, obviously, they have to, again, fill out a lot of mandatory things, and it starts, again, with images and videos. And maybe they want to, jewelry manufacturers, especially big brands, they have special collections. They have product reference numbers, they have inventory numbers, they have a product name, this is even mandatory, jewelry type, if it is a pendant, if it is a bracelet, and so on. And, of course, they have to give some things like the weight and the dimensions if it makes sense. And they, of course, always can tell a story at every step. So you can upload a jewelry piece which you manufactured out of it. You can also upload multiple stones. Then you come to material information. This is what I said. If you want to use gold, you enter the gold. You enter white gold, you enter the purity, you enter how much. And if you have a certificate, many jewelry producers use gold which have a special label, which have a special certificate. You add this information on. It is a very important added value. You can add on you can add on your supplier if you want to. You can add on your certificates, you can add on some additional information which you know. And obviously it's important, maybe you have multiple metals. You can add on multiple metals. You can, if you have a mixture of white gold and gold, yellow gold, you just say add on and you add on more material. If you have how many metals you want, you can add them in here. Okay, now you have the possibility to add on additional stones. Of course, in most cases, only the centerpieces are entered, have their logbook from beginning on. If you have, but maybe you want to add on 100 or maybe 500 Millet diamonds into your nice jewelry piece, then this is the place where you can do it very easily. You say, okay, I have diamond Millet, total weight, 300 pieces, and that's it. None of the other fields are mandatory. If you have diamond Millet in combination with yellow sapphire Millet too, it's no problem. You can add on as many stone types as you want as a jewelry maker into it as well. It's just, we looked at the industry and developed a platform. It's not opposite. Okay, now design information. I had to learn, I'm not from the jewelry manufacturing industry. I had to learn that design information and design inspiration is a very important topic for most jewelry brands. So they have a big platform to present it. If they want to, they can present even a designer name. If they want to, they can upload videos, they can sketches, whatever they want, they can do it here. They can tell the story of inspiration. They can say what design concept the company has. And they can put jewelry information into it. Some jewelry brands are proud that they are a jewelry brand in 6th generation family, as a family company. This is the place where they can add this information into it. Of course, it's a very important piece of information. And once they finish, they can again preview, they can see if all the information is entered correctly. They can even go into the gemstones, look into the information if it's the right gemstone. They can add on, they can check the design information, everything they entered, and if they're happy, they submit it. Now, these gemstones will not appear in the stone inventory anymore, but the entire jewelry piece will be in the jewelry inventory. And from then on, it's very simple. They can transfer it either to an end consumer or to a retailer. Transferring to an end consumer is very simple. End consumer doesn't want to really register because he's not a B2B, he's not a business. They only want to receive. So it's very simple. You just enter their email address, the email address they give you. They don't even have to register with name or anything. It's just an email address. They will receive an email address with a code. They give the code to you, you enter the code, and then the asset is in their hand, not in your hand anymore. And the end consumer has something like a logbook, like a personal private homepage. Nobody else can see to his or her jewelry piece. That means they have the unique situation on their mobile phone to have a homepage, only an exclusive homepage, only for the one jewelry piece which they bought. Nobody else will ever see that if they don't share it. And the jewelry manufacturer will also not have it anymore. This is the asset they pass on. They don't have to explain much anymore to the end consumer. The entire story is given in a nice digital way. They can see how the jewelry piece was manufactured. They can see how it was cut. The end consumer can show their friends where it was mined. The story is there in a not changeable way, in an honest way, in a way how you wanted to tell it, how you wanted to pass it on, the information. And this is their added value. And this is why we should always join and pass this information on. And I'm convinced, right now, maybe we can only achieve a premium, if at all, by giving stones on with the information. I'm sure in 1 or 2 years this changes completely. And then it's the question of, can we give them stones and cater the stones at all, which they request? But I think it's a chance. It's something very valuable for us. Okay, now you can see in the inventory, of course, the gemstones disappeared. if you're a retailer, you can sign up as a retailer. What you can also do is you can add on warranty information, you can add on retail information and so on, and pass that on as end consumer. Of course, at any stage, you can sell to the end consumer. As a jewelry manufacturer, you can sell directly to the end consumer, but you could pass it on to a retailer and then you can sell it on to the end consumer as well. So now I'm done actually, but let me just show you what an end consumer would see. So let's say you have this ring, you pass it on to an end consumer, and then on his mobile phone, they will see the information about the jewelry piece. They will see the information about the gemstone. They will see the rough. Sorry, no, this is wrong now. This is first the retail information. Let's just skip that for the moment. So the retailer, what they can do is also they can add on their logo onto it, which is very important for the retailer to do. But now let's see what. So this is now what they can pass on as a logbook. They will see the jewelry information. They will see that it is created, and if you open here, you can see all the information the jewelry manufacturer entered. You can see design videos. You can see everything that is uploaded. You can see. And then you can see the gemstones. If you go into gemstone information, you can see exactly what you have entered. You can go into cutting, you can see if it was transferred, but you cannot see from who it was transferred to, so traders don't appear. But you can see that it was sold. You can see that it was sold in Thailand, that it went through Thailand, that it went through Hong Kong, depending on what happened to it. And you can see, of course, that it is added on to a jewelry piece. And then you can see, even as an end consumer, you can see the story of the cutting. It is there. It is there in an honest way, and it's there in the way the cutter added it onto it. All this information, and if you continue on in the rough and you say, show me some more information about the parent stone, you can see the information which was entered at the mine maybe. You can see that it is a gemstone. Okay, I invented all this, of course, now for demonstration reasons. Where it was mined, under which conditions it was mined. Maybe the miner had some additional stories to it. The stories, if they uploaded, they would be visible here as well. And then at the end, what an end consumer have, but this is more as a vision, they can, if they have multiple gemstones, they will also have like an inventory with the different gemstones. So this is a smartphone view now. It's a mobile device view. And then they have like an own inventory of their like a digital safe of their pieces. And every time they click on a piece, they can see the entire history in a very easy way. They click on the mine, they see the mine, they click on the cutter, they see the cutter story, they click on the jewelry manufacturer, and of course if they click on the gem lab, they see that they have a very precious stone. And this is why we do that. We want to pass on, we all as stakeholders, we want to supply the end consumer with what they request. We want to supply them with the information they want to have. But we don't want to rely only that the retailer tells the information the way he thinks it's correct. We want to make sure that the end consumer receives the information the way how we entered it, how we said it. Now, at the end, it was very complex. If you need any help, there are multiple ways. You can find at any step, you can find a link, contact us, or you can find a link to support at provenance proof. You can always use those buttons. It's always a team behind. We will reply quickly, or you can always contact me directly, and I will be happy to help you at any step and with any need you have. Again, just sign up. Go there and sign up, or use this QR code. You can even use it from here, and just try it out. Try it out for the first stones. You don't lose anything. Try it out. Get some experience. Pass on some, you can even, pass on a gemstone to a friend. He passes it back to you and things. You can just play around, get some experience, and maybe use it. I think it would be a good, valuable thing. If you need any help right here in Thailand, the GIT will be more than happy and more than competent to help you. Thank you very much. I think it was a very long presentation, but thank you very much.
มีใครมีคำถามไหมคะยกมือได้เลยค่ะเรามีทีมงานจะเอาไมค์ไปให้นะคะ
ขออนุญาตถามเป็นภาษาไทยนะครับคือตรงที่เป็น Stone Information นะครับ เห็นมีว่าต้องลงไมล์ด้วยเป็นตัวที่แอสเทริกดอกจันไว้ว่าจำเป็นต้องมีอันนี้คือจำเป็นต้องลงใช่ไหมฮะ
อันนี้ขอตอบแทนเลยแล้วกันนะคะจริงๆก่อนหน้านี้มันเป็นmandatory แต่ว่าเมื่อวานได้คุยกับทางคุณลิงแล้วเขาจะแก้ให้เป็น optional ก็คือไม่ต้องลงก็ได้ค่ะค่ะ this gentleman was asking if location of mine is mandatory in the stone information so I just told him that you've just made the adjustment right ค่ะ
Yes it's because you don't know it maybe
ค่ะ
so you cannot fill it out
So in the screenshot, it was still red asterisk.
Yes, it was still, and even maybe it's even mandatory to say something, but you can say unknown.
ค่ะคือมันอาจจะเป็นช่องที่ต้องกรอกแต่ว่ากรอกว่าไม่ทราบได้ค่ะมีให้เลือกว่า unknown ค่ะ
โอเคครับขอคำถามต่อไปนะครับตรงนี้เราสร้าง inventory ขึ้นมาในระบบใช่ไหมครับแล้วก็เมื่อเรา transfer ออกไปมันก็จะไม่แสดงผลใน inventory ของเราแล้วอยากถามว่าแล้วมันมี transfer history ไหมครับที่จะรู้ว่าอะไรที่เราเอาเข้าระบบไปแล้วแล้วเรา transfer ไปแล้ว
When you transfer an assets, you would not be seeing that assets anymore. That's correct, right?
That's correct.
But this gentleman wants to know if there would be some sort of a transfer history that he could see, that he would be able to keep track of the assets that he transferred.
This is very interesting, of course, to know, but due to privacy, the next person, maybe especially the end consumer, does not want that people see what he bought. So you can always only look back, you can see from where gemstone came from, but you cannot look what will happen with it. That it's privacy, which we respect.
ก็จำไม่ได้นะคะเพราะว่าระบบรองรับการมองย้อนกลับแต่ว่าไม่ได้รองรับการมองไปข้างหน้าค่ะก็คือถ้า transfer แล้วก็อาจจะไม่เห็นค่ะ
สิ่งที่ต้องการเห็นก็คือตัวย้อนกลับอย่างเช่นผมเอาพลอยเข้าไปแล้วก่อนหน้านี้เข้าไปแล้ว100เม็ดขายไป90เม็ดเหลืออีก10เม็ดผมจะยังมองเห็นข้อมูลของ90เม็ดที่ขายไปแล้วที่ผมเป็นคนเอาเข้าไปไหมครับ
ไม่เห็นไม่น่าจะเห็นค่ะ so he was asking if he has a parcel of 100 stones and then he transferred 90 of them there is still 10 left
that is easy
but he wants to know if the transferred 90 pieces would still be visible in any shape or form in the platform for him
no so if you have a parcel of 100 stones and you transfer 90 stones to the next person the parcel will automatically split. And then you have a parcel left over of 10 stones in your inventory, which is visible for you, but the parcel of 90 stones then is visible for the next person. The parcels are split.
And the history of that 90 pieces would not be visible anymore, right?
The history, well, you can see that your... this is a good question. Well, you then can still see that your parcel of 10 stones once came out of a parcel with 90 stones. With 100.
So, sorry, I mean for individual stone. If I input 100 individual stone in the system and 90 stone is sold out, and I would like to know how can I have a history of the 90 stone that I sold. I understand that I cannot to say forward what will be happen for that stone, but if I want to see only what I input or before I get the stone, that I can see, the system should be show what in inventory and the past inventory.
I'm not sure if I...
So, sorry to interrupt.
Maybe repeat.
Maybe he means that for the 90 pieces that he already sold, the history of those are still in the system, or it will be deleted.
Well, the system, the 90 stones, of course, are gone. The history of these 90 stones are gone, but the history of the 90 stones is also the same as the history of the 10 stones you still have in your inventory. That means if you go into your 10 stones history, you see in the 10 stone history that they came out of a parcel with 100 stones. That means you have the entire history still in your inventory system too. You have the history of the parcels which you of the part of the parcel which you passed on. You still have it visible. Yes. Once you passed on the remaining 10 pieces also away, then you don't have any information of this parcel anymore at all because you gave the entire original parcel information away.
ก็คือถ้ามี parcel 100 ชิ้นใช่ไหมคะแล้วtransfer ไป90ตอนที่ยังมี10 เม็ดอยู่กับตัวค่ะจะยังเห็นว่ามี history ว่ามีการ transfer ไป90เหลือ10แต่ว่าเมื่อไหร่ที่ทำการ transfer ไปแล้วอีก10อะค่ะคือ parcel นั้นหมดไปก็คือจะไม่เห็น history นั้นแล้วค่ะ
And the next person actually will see that the parcel of 10 stones came out of a parcel of 100 stones.
The person receiving, you mean?
Yeah, because you can look into the history, yes.
ส่วนฝ่ายคนที่ได้รับโอน10 เม็ดที่เหลือค่ะก็จะเห็นว่าสิ่งที่ได้รับมาเนี่ยมันเคยเป็นส่วนหนึ่งของ parcel ที่มันเป็น100 เม็ดค่ะ
คือสรุปว่าตัวบล็อกเชนไม่ได้เก็บ history ให้คนที่เป็นไม่ได้เก็บ history ที่เป็น activity ของการ transfer ให้ใช่ไหมครับ
ค่ะ
ครับคำถามต่อไปคือเรามีข้อมูลที่อยู่ในบล็อกเชนเรากรอกข้อมูลที่อยู่ในบล็อกเชนนะครับเราสามารถที่จะ export ข้อมูลพวกนั้นออกมาเป็นไฟล์เพื่อเอาเข้าระบบ ERP ของเราด้วยได้ไหมครับ
This gentleman wants to know if it's possible to export the inventory that they have in provenance proof in Excel or in CSV so that they can integrate it with the system that they currently have.
That's a very good question, but normally the question is opposite. Normally people have an inventory system and ask to import it into the blockchain. The answer is yes. For the other way, so maybe you understood it. So you can export your inventory system into blockchain. The other way, so far from blockchain into CSV is not possible because nobody asked me for this need so far. But I'm happy to develop a solution there, especially if it is a need. There's no reason not to do that.
ค่ะก็คร่าวๆก็คือ import ทำได้ง่ายมากนะคะแต่ว่า export เนี่ยยังไม่มีฟังก์ชันนี้แต่ว่าเขาก็เห็นว่าน่าสนใจแล้วเขาก็อาจจะพิจารณาไปdevelop ต่อค่ะ
ที่ถามก็เพราะว่าก่อนหน้าเราที่เราจะมาได้ deployment เนี่ยมีคนที่เอาข้อมูลเข้าก่อนหน้าเราแล้วดังนั้นเวลาที่เรารับ point มาเราน่าจะ import ข้อมูลเข้ามาในระบบของเราแล้วมาใช้ประโยชน์ตรงนี้ได้เลยโดยที่ไม่ต้องมีการบันทึกใหม่ถึงได้เกิดคำถามนี้ขึ้นมา
คือหมายถึงว่าสมมติไม่ทราบชื่อคุณอะไรคะ
ภควัตครับ
คุณภาคม
ภควัตครับ
คุณภาควัตค่ะสมมติว่าคุณภาควัตเนี่ยมีprovenance proof อยู่แล้วใช่ไหมคะแล้วได้รับข้อมูลเยอะแยะเลยมาใน point 1 เม็ดนี่คืออยากจะ export ข้อมูลเหล่านั้นเข้าไปใน ERP ของตัวเองอันนี้เข้าใจถูกไหมคะ
ถูกครับ
The reason he's asking is that there's quite a lot of information on provenance proof and in order to take all that information into integrating into the ERP system that he currently is using that would be a lot of work to manually input that so if it's exportable in Excel or CSV it would save him a lot of time
I acknowledge that so far I always only had the opposite request. People told me it's a lot of work if they're like a large company to transfer all the information into the blockchain, but you're a valid point. So if you want to, please contact me and we will find a solution for that. Especially if you purchase a lot of stones with blockchain information and you want to add this blockchain information into your CSV, into your inventory system, of course, there should be a good solution to import that as well. I will be happy. This is a very important point, maybe. As I said, it's an industry platform. It's not me giving something to you. I think it's something that will grow together. That means I would always listen to. I'm only making it technically possible. That means I will always listen to any recommendation you bring, and if it makes sense, or if there are like 2 people or something, so it's kind of like. If it sounds logic to do that step, then we will just do it together.
ค่ะก็เขาก็อยากเน้นย้ำนะคะว่าแพลตฟอร์มก็จะต้องโตไปพร้อมกับอินดัสทรีของเรานะคะเพราะฉะนั้นถ้าเกิดว่ามีฟังก์ชันอะไรหรือว่ามีคอนเซิร์นอะไรก็คือเขาแนะนำให้ติดต่อเข้าไปแล้วก็พูดกับเขาเลยค่ะเขาจะได้ช่วยกันบิวแพลตฟอร์มให้มันดีขึ้นค่ะ
ขออนุญาตถามคำถามสุดท้ายครับ
ค่ะ
ในฐานะที่เป็นจิวเวลเลอร์เป็นผู้ที่ผลิตแล้วก็จำหน่ายเครื่องประดับเวลาที่เราขายไปให้ end user แล้วครับเป็น end consumer แล้ว end consumer นั้นได้รับตัวลิงก์นี้แล้ว end consumer จำเป็นที่จะต้อง register เพื่อรับลิงก์นี้ในระบบด้วยใช่ไหมฮะ
Does the end consumer are they required to register into the system in order to receive the information of the store? No.
They only have to give once the email address because they have to receive digitally the information. That means you need to have an email address to send it to them. That's it. They do not have to register.
ค่ะอันนี้ก็คือลองเปิดดูในเอกสารก็ได้นะคะมีทำสกรีนช็อตไว้ว่าถ้าเกิดว่าเราเป็น end consumer ขอโทษค่ะใน QR code นะคะที่อยู่หน้าแรกหน้าห้องค่ะในเอกสารมีก็คือคนที่โอนให้อ่ะค่ะจะมีได้รับเป็นรหัส6หลักซึ่งรหัสเนี้ยก็คือคนที่โอนให้ก็คือโยนให้ลูกค้าก็คือเข้าไปในเว็บแล้วก็เอารหัสนั้นใส่เข้าไปแล้วก็อาจจะต้องมีกรอกข้อมูลเพิ่มเติมนิดหน่อยก็คือจะรับได้เลยแค่นั้นค่ะค่อนข้างง่าย
ครับเมื่อเราขายของให้ลูกค้าไปแล้วลูกค้ารับรหัสไปแล้วลูกค้าใช้งานไปลูกค้านำจิวเวลรี่ชิ้นนั้นกลับมาให้เราซ่อมแซมหรือมีการเปลี่ยนแปลงสมมติอย่างเช่นพลอยบินแตกแล้วเราถอดพลอยนั้นออกไปเจียใหม่มันก็จะมีการเปลี่ยนแปลงข้อมูลในกรณีเช่นนี้เนี่ยเราจะเข้ามาจัดการในบล็อกเชนอีกครั้งได้ไหมครับเพราะว่าเราไม่มีคีย์ตัวนั้นหรือลูกค้าต้องเอาคีย์อะไรบางอย่างมาให้เราเปิดเราเพื่อที่เราจะไปแก้ข้อมูลตรงนั้นให้ลูกค้า
This is actually a very good question. So this gentleman wants to know if, assuming he sells a jewelry to someone, and then that piece of jewelry broke, say the stone chipped, and the customer send it back to the jeweler to repair. So that would be an adjustment in the information, right? Say the weight of the stone would be different. So he wants to know if it's possible for the customer to send it back and would be possible for the jeweler to make that adjustment.
Yes, it is possible in two ways. The end consumer can send it back. It's also because of warranty, it can happen. Also, an end consumer in many countries has the right to give back a jewelry piece. And they can do. They can give it back to you, and then the asset is with you again. The end consumer can also do even one more thing. Let's say, for personal reasons, they are under conditions to sell a jewelry piece. And then the story must be passed on, right? And they can do that too. But if they want to sell a jewelry piece, they have to act as a trader. That means then they have the option to change from end consumer to trader. Even if they are private trader, they have to change to private trader. Then they have to register because then they can add on information and then they can sell it on a private way. You can sell as a trader, business or private doesn't play a role. But then they have to adjust their role. But as you said, of course they can give it back and then the jeweler of course can modify.
ก็ทำได้นะคะก็แต่ว่าend consumer เนี่ยถ้าเกิดสมมติว่าอยากจะขายจิวเวลรี่ชิ้นที่มีอยู่ค่ะหรือว่าอยากจะ transfer กลับก็อาจจะต้องไป register ให้ตัวเองเป็นเทรดเดอร์ก่อนเพื่อที่จะส่งข้อมูลกลับไปหรือว่าส่งข้อมูลให้คนอื่นค่ะค่ะ
ขอถามคำถามนึงนะคะคือที่เขาบอกว่ามันเป็น traceability หรือว่า transparent เนี่ยข้อมูลเนี่ยจริงๆแล้วเนี่ยเวลาที่ลูกค้าต้องการว่า trace เนี่ยมันคือ trace ไปถึงต้นน้ำอะไรเงี้ยค่ะก็คือตั้งแต่เหมืองการผลิตอะไรเงี้ยนะคะแล้วก็เป็นสเต็ปไปเนี่ยแต่ถ้าดูแล้วเนี่ยของเขานี่คือจะเริ่มต้นที่จุดใดจุดหนึ่งก็ได้ถูกไหมคะคือล็อกบุ๊กของเขาเนี่ยจำเป็นต้องเริ่มไปที่เหมืองก่อนหรืออะไรอย่างนี้แต่ว่าอาจจะมาตรงคัตเตอร์หรือว่าตรงเจมส์สลับหรืออะไรก็แล้วแต่ที่จะ input ข้อมูลเริ่มต้นของสินค้าล็อตนั้นคือมองแล้วมันเหมือนเป็น tooling ในการโฆษณาหรือขายสินค้ามากกว่าหรือเปล่าคะคือมันต่างจากความรู้สึกแรกที่คิดว่า traceability นี่คือ trace ไปถึงต้นน้ำของพลอยตัวนั้นเลยอะไรอย่างเงี้ยค่ะคือ
ความหมายคือว่าถ้า trace ไม่ถึงต้นน้ำก็คือ จะมองว่าเป็น tool เพื่อการโฆษณาหรอคะเข้าใจถูกไหมคะ
คือมองว่าเขาเน้นตรงจุดที่ว่าend consumer เนี่ยแค่อยากรู้ว่าพลอยอันเนี้ยมันมาจากไหนแต่ว่ามันไม่ได้มาจากถึงเริ่มต้นอะไรเงี้ยค่ะว่าไม้นั้นเนี่ยผลิตยังไงหรือว่ามีผลกับสิ่งทำอะไรที่แบบมีผลกับสิ่งแวดล้อมหรือเปล่าหรืออะไรเงี้ยนะคะคือมันไม่ได้ลึกไปจนถึงตรงนั้นแล้วมันไม่ได้มีระบบที่จะควบคุมหรือว่าออดิตขั้นตอนแต่ละขั้นตอนถูกไหมคะ
โอเคค่ะ
คือของเขาจะแบบเป็นเหมือน tools ที่ใช้ในการแบบโฆษณามากกว่าอะไรอย่างนี้หรือเปล่าคะ
okay so there are several questions packed in that one so first of all this lady wants to know if it's possible to be the entry point of data at like the mine doesn't have to be the starting point it could be anyone in the supply chain that is correct right
very important that's very very important anybody can start this logbook at any stage it's very important and especially while we're sitting here nearly the big majority is not minor so of course as a trader that's a very good point to start of course as a cutter that's a very good point and even as a jewelry manufacturer if you buy a gemstone which was not entered in the blockchain still you should start the chapter you should enter the gemstone with the information you have you can enter the lab reports inside you can enter the dimension the quality you can enter the gemstone information because then you can also enter the jewelry manufacturing information into it so at any stage in the supply chain it is worth starting the blockchain
ก็คือไม่ว่าจะเป็นอยู่จุดไหนของห่วงโซ่อุปทานนะคะ supply chain ก็คือสามารถเป็นจุดเริ่มของข้อมูลได้ and she also wants to know that there is no does it support the environmental impact in the process of manufacturing and also if it's more for marketing and advertising than like complete transparency and traceability
at the end what I give here is a technology it's an empty logbook which belongs to a gemstone what I also give is a technology to when you tell your story to securely store the story to write a date to it to make sure that your story is connected to a gemstone and nobody can manipulate what you write the story you write yourself that is your part so obviously I would also always recommend to stick as much as possible to the facts of course but of course it's about storytelling it's about trade is about storytelling that means if you do something if you invest in an extra mile if you invest in sustainability if you invest in advanced employee conditions of course you should put your story in here because it definitely adds on value of course it is marketing then you use it for your marketing but you use it for your marketing by adding on information which is maybe important to the end consumer it's a combination of both it's a combination of informing about facts especially if you give a gemological laboratory for example the right to write something inside but of course it's also giving you a platform to market yourself and to build a unique selling point
ค่ะขอแปลสักครู่นะคะก็คืออันนี้ค่ะมันก็เป็นเครื่องมือหนึ่งในการที่เหมือนเป็นสมุดจดบันทึกที่จะไม่มีใครมาแก้ไขข้อมูลของเราได้นะคะเพราะฉะนั้นเนี่ยก็คือถ้าเกิดว่าเรามีการลงทุนในสิ่งที่ดีต่อสิ่งแวดล้อมดีต่อสังคมอะค่ะเขาก็พูดว่าก็ควรจะใส่ลงไปนะคะเพราะว่าเมื่อกี้ค่ะในเดโมอันนี้ขอเพิ่มเติมเองนะคะในเดโมทุกๆหน้าเขาก็จะมีให้เขียนว่าสตอรี่มาเป็นยังไงอัปโหลดรูปได้อย่างเงี้ยค่ะถ้าเกิดว่ามีการลงทุนในการ sustainability อะไรเงี้ยค่ะก็เขาก็ encourage ให้เขียนลงไปค่ะ
if they submit the wrong informations, yeah, and then they pass to another state. So what to do?
That's a very important point. It's a logbook, like a real logbook too. That means, indeed, someone intentionally or unintentionally can say not true things and put a lie inside. You can. I mean, not you. Anyone can. But, as I said, there is the technology that puts a timestamp onto it. That means, I think we all know the worst thing we can lose in our industry is our reputation, right? And now, if there is an untrue story, it might come out. Let's say the gemstone is not what it is claimed to be, right? But it can move to a laboratory, it can use to experienced people, and it can be easily identified that a gemstone doesn't come from Colombia, but from wherever, whatever. And then, now here the system comes again. And then it can be shown who was lying. And then obviously this person loses reputation. And not only, I mean, the person signed before and agreed in the terms of conditions to be honest and not to misuse the system in the way of saying untrue things. That means these people can even be excluded out of the provenance proof initiative thereafter and not be able to enter again a transparency tool. So there is something like a social security system inside as well that kind of like ensures that the story stays as honest as possible and transparent as possible.
ก็ในเรื่องของการใส่ข้อมูลผิดหรือว่าตั้งใจใส่ข้อมูลที่ไม่เป็นความจริงนะคะก็ส่วนหนึ่งเนี่ยก็คือมีกลไกในอุตสาหกรรมอยู่แล้วเพราะว่าทุกบริษัทโดยเฉพาะในอุตสาหกรรมของเราเนี่ยค่ะก็จะต้องอยากให้มีชื่อเสียงที่ไม่มีด่างพร้อยอยู่แล้วถูกไหมคะทีนี้การที่แพลตฟอร์มบล็อกเชนเนี่ยมันมี time stamp มันคือมีปั๊มเอาไว้ว่าสร้าง transaction สร้างธุรกรรมกี่โมงเมื่อไหร่อะไรเงี้ยค่ะแล้วมันแก้ไม่ได้มันเป็นหลักฐานที่น่าเชื่อถือเมื่อเวลาที่ต้องการสรุปว่าใครเป็นคนโกหกเนี่ยค่ะหรือว่าใครเป็นคนลงข้อมูลผิดเนี่ยก็คือเราสามารถเปิดข้อมูลขึ้นมาดูได้แล้วก็จะสามารถsettle ปัญหาได้ค่อนข้างชัดเจนค่ะ
Okay, question. I'm sorry, I'm very beginner of the blockchain about the James and Julie. I would like to ask you the question about because the blockchain is now is represent something like very traceability and reliable information for the people. How do you make sure that the information that people fill in the system is correct and truth? For example, the information from the mine, the qualification of the product and everything. And the second question is, how do you prove that the product, or example James or Julie, that the people have transferred to another people is comparing to the real asset is the truth and matched correctly. Yes. Thank you.
It's a little bit like the previous question too. So there are levels of information which we cannot prove. If you write, if someone writes, we plant a tree for every gemstone. It's something they write we cannot prove, but they gave the promise in a written way. That means the end consumer, the press, these people can prove if it is true what is written. And if it's not true, it's the reputation, it's the name of the person who wrote it, because then it's identified this person was a liar. This would be a traumatic impact for a person, right? On the other side, there are possibilities to prove some things. For example, let's say, I'm not talking now about corporate social responsibility information and things. Now we're talking about gemstone information itself. Let's say there are a lot of facts inside the blockchain, the same facts as are mentioned in GemLab reports. The size, the dimension, the quality of the color, the quality of the gemstone, the treatment, the country of origin. These are, I mean, besides all the factors we have mentioned, These are the factors that make the value of a gemstone, that have a great impact. We all know it. The size, the color, the origin, if it is treated, if it is natural. This is put in the blockchain. You're completely right. But at the same time, a gemstone still has to go to a gemological laboratory, and the reports are added into the blockchain as well. And the reports, just like now, can be re-identified and can be connected to the gemstone. And if someone had doubt that it's not the same information fitting to a gemstone, he or she can do exactly the same as they do now. If they have doubts, they can go back to the gem lab and give the stone and say, is it correct? So you have a double control. And you have, don't forget the page where I was talking about the tracer opportunity. So you have the possibility, it's even my recommendation, to do something like a physical anchor. That means, for example, we offer these nanoparticles, particles which you can put into a gemstone, onto a gemstone, with information stored in it. These particles can be read out. Emerald paternity tests or something, we call them, for example. Or for diamonds, we have something similar. That means at any stage in the supply chain, if people have doubt, they can take these, put them to a laboratory, they can read out the particles, they are unique, and see this information of the particle is exactly the same information as given in the blockchain, so it matches together. I call it physical anchor. Other people rely on, they say, no, we don't want to work with this method. They rely on if it is better or not. It's a question of debate, and at the end, question of the industry, not my decision. They rely maybe on laser encryption. They want to have laser encryption inside the gemstone. You can take those unique markers, you can put those unique identifiers into the blockchain, into the chapter of the same book, and then at least still, there are still possibilities, but then you have again more and more proofs, and the more and more systems you use, but it's again not me to push people to use, it's more like an offer, and I can recommend, we are specialists in this, I can help with this if people want to. More and more it fits then together, and more it gets denser and gets more difficult to give space for not true or for mixing up or for confusion. But at the end, of course, there will always be space for inaccuracy, I say, but at the same time, we grow also together. We will always, like it is today, I mean, you know, like it was before blockchain, there were treatments which were not described, and then they were used, but then the gem labs did research and identified these things, and it's kind of like, it's a game we play since a long time, but it's also a game where we have experience to make sure that we close those gaps together.
ค่ะก็ยาวนิดนึงก็คือมีสองคำถามนะคะคำถามแรกคืออาจจะคล้ายคุณผู้หญิงเมื่อสักครู่นี้นะคะก็คือเรื่องการใส่ข้อมูลที่อาจจะไม่จริงหรือผิดหรือว่าเป็นข้อมูลทุจริตก็คือขอไม่กล่าวถึงคำถามนั้นแล้วกันนะคะเพราะว่าตอบไปแล้วอีกอย่างนึงก็คือคำถามที่สองก็คือถ้าเกิดว่าเรารู้ได้ยังไงใช่ไหมคะว่าพลอยที่เราได้รับเนี่ยกับข้อมูลที่เขา transfer มามันเป็นอย่างเดียวกันคุณลิงก์เขาก็บอกว่าถ้าเกิดว่าต้องการความชัวร์จริงๆนะคะเขามีฟังก์ชัน tracer ที่เขาโชว์ให้ดูสักครู่ค่ะมันเรียกว่าเป็น physical anchorage ก็คือว่าเราเนี่ยมีการเหมือนไปสแตมป์บนตัวสินค้าเลยบนตัวพลอยเลยว่าพลอยเม็ดนี้มี serial number A B C D เหมือนที่ GIA เขาเลเซอร์ลงไปในเพชรนะคะทีนี้ถ้าเกิดว่าที่ผ่านมาเนี่ยมันสุจริตคนที่ผ่านมาเนี่ยมันสุจริตเนี่ยเขาก็จะต้องลงไปอยู่แล้วใช่ไหมคะว่าเลขนี้เป็นเลขที่ inscribe ลงไปในพลอยหรือเพชรแล้วเขาก็จะใส่เข้าไปในระบบบล็อกเชนซึ่งผู้รับเนี่ยค่ะก็จะสามารถเห็นข้อมูลนี้ได้ว่าเฮ้ยเลขมันตรงกันหรือเปล่าถ้าตรงกันก็คือจบถ้าไม่ตรงกันเนี่ยก็คือเราก็จะต้องเซตเทิลปัญหาเนี่ยเหมือนวิธีที่เราทำอยู่เป็นปัจจุบันทุกวันนี้ก็คือเดินไปที่แลบแล้วก็ให้แลบตรวจผลแลบออกมาเนี่ยเราก็คือสามารถเทียบได้เลยว่าแฟกต์ที่ผ่านมามันตรงหรือเปล่าแต่ทีนี้อาจจะขอเพิ่มเติมนิดนึงว่าเมื่อกี้ค่ะที่คุณลิงเขาโชว์ให้ดูมันจะมีหน้าหนึ่งเป็นโรที่เป็นแลบใช่ไหมคะสมมุติว่าเรามีพออยู่เม็ดหนึ่งเนี่ยแล้วเรา transfer ให้ทาง GIT ทำอะค่ะ GIT จะเป็นฝ่ายสามารถใส่ข้อมูลเข้าไปได้เองเลยนะคะเพราะฉะนั้นข้อมูลที่ GIT ใส่เนี่ยมันต้องมีความน่าเชื่อถือสูงมากอยู่แล้วอะค่ะในส่วนเนี้ยก็คืออาจจะช่วยได้ค่ะแล้วก็ข้อมูล จากใบเซอร์ที่เขาอัปโหลดไว้ในนั้นในบล็อกเชนนะคะก็คือสามารถเรียกขึ้นมาได้ดูได้เหมือนกันค่ะมีใครมีคำถามอีกไหมคะ
ความว่าตอนนี้ถ้าเกิดว่านำพลอยไปตรวจกับ GIT หรือว่ากูเบลินเนี่ยทาง lab 2 แห่งเนี้ยค่ะจะใส่ข้อมูลการตรวจวิเคราะห์พวกนี้ลงไปในแพลตฟอร์มบล็อกเชนเลยหรือเปล่าคะ
So if a company wants to send a gemstone to either GIT or Googlin, would you be entering the data and information into the blockchain?
Do you want it?
So it's upon the client request that we need it on the blockchain too, right?
So definitely, I honestly and personally I think that's the future, and that's the future not for me as a laboratory. I think that's the future for you as a user of a laboratory. Why? Because it makes your life much easier. You have what you received before from the laboratory, but you also have it in a digital way. Of course, coming from the industry, I know that people are not always happy with the reports and I disagree, but you always have a chance to first, of course, look into the result before you want to have it added onto your blockchain, right? But once you are happy with it, it is the best argument for you to pass on to your customer is the digital way and the connection of the GemLab report to the stone. And I tell you why. Because this person will save money. He does not have to come to my laboratory or to GIT or to any laboratory. It's an industry solution. It's open to every laboratory. You definitely, Googling will see the minority of the stones, I'm sure. But these people will be happy and they save money because they don't have to go back to the laboratory and ask for a report again for seeing that it's exactly the same. So definitely I think it's the future and it's the way we should go. Yes.
ก็คือจะเลือกให้ทาง lab ใส่หรือไม่ใส่ข้อมูลให้ก็ได้นะคะแต่ว่าเขาก็แนะนำว่าใส่เถอะใส่แล้วชีวิตจะดีขึ้นนะคะเพราะว่ามันก็คือจะเซฟคอสในการที่จะต้องมานั่งคีย์หรืออะไรพวกนี้แล้วก็การที่ lab เป็นคนใส่ให้อะค่ะมันมีความน่าเชื่อถือมากกว่าค่ะอันนี้คุณธนงกับท่านปู่อยากจะเพิ่มเติมอะไรไหมคะ
ก็จริงๆเนี่ยทาง GIT เนี่ยเราก็เป็นพาร์ทเนอร์กับทางกูเบลินอยู่แล้วนะคะเราก็เป็นยูเซอร์อยู่แล้วเพราะฉะนั้นกรณีที่บริษัทไม่อยากจะทำเองก็มาให้ GIT เนี่ยตรวจออกใบเซอร์แล้วก็อนุญาตให้เราขึ้นเราก็ขึ้นให้ได้นะคะเพราะฉะนั้นขึ้นอยู่กับว่าข้อมูลการตรวจถ้าตรวจออกมาแล้วบริษัทเห็นว่าโอเคขึ้นได้เราก็ขึ้นให้แต่ก็อย่างว่านะคะในเมื่อระบบเนี่ยฟรีแล้วท่านสามารถเข้าไปกรอกเองได้ก็จะเป็นประโยชน์กับบริษัทแต่ถึงไม่อยากทำเนี่ยทาง JT ก็ยินดีทำให้นะคะแต่ก็ต้องได้รับการยินยอมจากบริษัทก่อน
So she was reinstating the same point that you make that it's optional but we highly encourage that the lab is involved and inputting the data.
I mean maybe to say of course for gemological laboratories, the most important thing is the confidentiality towards both sides for the person who submits a gemstone. Of course, we must not and never pass on information to anyone about the stone without your explicit permission. There's no question about this. But we would recommend to you, if you are happy with the result and if you're happy with the report, I would recommend to you, it's a good thing to put it in a digital form too, to put it into such a logbook or to even create such a logbook. Even then, you don't have to pass it on, right? If you think it's better for you to not pass on information, it's your stone, it's your industry and your business. We will never interfere with your business. But the offer, like you say, the offer is there, and my personal opinion is I don't see disadvantages. But at the same time,
of course it's completely in your hand and in your control to decide what to do
ค่ะก็ทาง lab นะคะเขาก็ต้องยึดถือความเป็นส่วนตัวของข้อมูลของลูกค้าเป็นหลักอยู่แล้วค่ะก็คือถ้าเกิดว่าไม่มีคอนเซนต์จากลูกค้าก็จะไม่เปิดเผยข้อมูลนะคะแต่ว่าเขาก็แนะนำว่าถ้าทำให้มันโปร่งใสได้ก็จะดีค่ะอ๋อค่ะ
ครับในฐานะตัวแทนของโรงงานเจรไนนะฮะพอดีแน่นอนตอนลงทะเบียนโลหลักของเราคือการเจรไนแต่เราก็มี potential ในการขายเหมือนกันเป็นทั้งดีลเลอร์ด้วยอย่างเงี้ยครับซึ่งในส่วนเนี้ยแปลว่าเราต้องลงทะเบียนทั้งหมด2 ครั้งเนี่ยแหละฮะ2 อีเมลเนี่ยแหละครับ
Oh, this gentleman represents a lapidary factory, but his company also has activities in trading and selling as well. He wants to know if he has to register with 2 separate emails in order to act as a cutter and a trader.
In theory, yes. So in theory, but it makes sense if you have 2 departments to have 2 inventories because it helps you tracking also in between. In practical terms, I can tell you that a cutter has all possibilities digitally that a trader has too. That means if you only have 1 account and if it's a cutter account, you can do the trading with the same account too. So you only need a cutter account and you can do everything.
ค่ะก็คือถ้าพอดีว่า account ของการเป็นช่างเจียค่ะมันมีฟังก์ชันที่สามารถทำได้ทั้งใส่ข้อมูลของช่างเจียและข้อมูลของเทรดเดอร์อยู่แล้วเพราะฉะนั้นถ้าเกิดว่าจำเป็นจะต้องใช้แค่อีเมลเดียวก็คือ sign up เป็นคัตเตอร์ไปก็พอค่ะ
อีกคำถามครับวันที่ผมเห็นตรงในช่องโรของตัวเหมือนเป็นรีเทลเลอร์เขาจะมีช่องเกี่ยวกับการใส่แบรนดิ้งลงไปซึ่งเป็นโลโก้มีโอกาสไหมในการที่พูดไงดีโรงงานเจียก็อยากจะมีแบรนด์เหมือนกันนะครับมีโอกาสไหมในการเติมช่องที่เป็นแบรนด์โลโก้ลงไป
So he was mentioning the screenshot for a retailer role where you are enabled to add your own logo or like branding elements into it. As a lapidary factory, he wants to have the branding element added to his account as well. Would that be able to?
Yes, it is possible. Even now, just for the retailer, it's the last thing the end consumer sees. So of course he has a special place. But as I mentioned in this section, additional information. You can add on your logo, you can add on your homepage, you can add on social media, there is space for everything. If you think you need more space, you can talk to me and we will find a solution, maybe a bigger package even.
ค่ะก็คือจริงๆสำหรับ Oh sorry.
I am aware that people like to even go more into marketing actually, but as this is only a trackability tool at the beginning, there are limitations, let's say, in marketing. But, however, if there is the interest there, we will find a solution to give more space to that.
ค่ะก็คือว่าจริงๆแล้วเป็น work around ก็คือในทุกหน้าค่ะเขาจะมีช่องเหมือนช่องฟรีให้กรอกอะไรก็ได้ค่ะที่เขียนว่า additional information หรือ story อะไรพวกนี้ค่ะก็คือถ้าเกิดว่าเป็นโรงงานเจียก็คือสามารถใส่อะไรที่เป็นเกี่ยวกับ branding ลงไปในช่องนั้นได้นะคะแต่ว่าถ้ารู้สึกว่าจำเป็นจริงๆอยากได้จริงๆก็คือลองติดต่อมาทางกูบลินกับคุณลิงก็ได้ค่ะคือเขาก็ยังยืนยันว่าอยากจะได้ยินเสียงของทุกท่านแล้วก็อยากจะโตไปด้วยกันนะคะ
Is it possible to see the name of the register? I mean, the company name. Who registered to the provenance proof?
It's a very important. I actually didn't mention. Yes, so people who registered at provenance proof will appear if they agree and if they're happy with it, with the name on a provenance proof billboard. That means on the homepage provenanceproof.com there is a list of registered companies that use provenance proof. This helps you actually if a retailer or trader or a jeweler is looking for trackable, transparent gemstones, then they can go into the internet, into the list, and see if one of their contacts is as a recognized user. That means it's very important, actually. Thank you very much. If you want and you sign up, you can be listed on our homepage for free, of course. And then your name is there. It's some marketing for you. If you prefer not to do, of course you can use provenance proof. Of course you can do exactly all things. But then, of course, we will not put your name onto the list. As I mentioned, we do respect and we are part of the industry, so we do know that privacy can become a very important point too. But many people prefer to be there. You can also look onto the list. I don't know if it's up to date, but you will see a lot of names.
ก็ถ้าอยากทราบนะคะว่ามีบริษัทไหนที่ sign up กับ provenance proof ได้เนี่ยไปแล้วบ้างนะคะก็สามารถเข้าไปดูในกระดานในเว็บไซต์ของ provenance proof ได้นะคะถ้าเกิดว่าบริษัทที่สมัครเข้ามาแล้วให้ความยินยอมว่าจะเปิดหน้าว่าฉันอยู่บนแพลตฟอร์มนี้เขาก็คือจะมาปรากฏในหน้าบิลบอร์ดนั้นซึ่งจะอำนวยความสะดวกให้ทุกท่านสามารถเลือกได้ว่าฉันอยากจะค้าขายกับคนที่มี traceability เท่านั้นอย่างเงี้ยค่ะก็คือกดเข้ามาดูได้ค่ะโอเคถ้าไม่มีคำถามอะไรเพิ่มเติมก็ขอบคุณทุกท่านมากๆนะคะที่มาในวันนี้นะคะถ้ามีคำถามอะไรอยากจะsubmit เข้ามาก็เข้ามาใน Facebook Page หรือว่าอีเมลก็ได้ค่ะค่ะก็อย่าลืมลองสแกนเข้าไปเล่นกันดูนะคะอันนี้
ค่ะดิฉันต้องขอบคุณทุกท่านที่ให้ความสนใจในงานสัมมนาเชิงปฏิบัติการในครั้งนี้และขอบคุณท่านวิทยากรทั้ง3ท่านที่ได้ให้เกียรติมาร่วมบรรยายและหวังเป็นอย่างยิ่งว่าการจัดสัมมนาในครั้งนี้จะเป็นแนวทางที่ประเทศไทยจะสามารถนำบล็อกเชนมาใช้เป็นเครื่องมือติดตามแหล่งที่มาของพลอยสีไทยได้ค่ะทางนี้ดิฉันขอความร่วมมือทุกท่านทำแบบสอบถามและส่งคืนได้ที่จุดลงทะเบียนด้านหน้าได้เลยนะคะสุดท้ายนี้ก่อนที่ทุกท่านจะเดินทางกลับดิฉันอยากเชิญชวนทุกท่านเยี่ยมชมนิทรรศการเจมส์เทเชอร์บริเวณทางเข้าอาคาร Challenger 2 และท่านใดสนใจตรวจสอบคุณภาพอัญมณีและเครื่องประดับหรือสอบถามงานบริการต่างๆของทางสถาบันขอเรียนเชิญได้ที่ Challenger Hall 3 บูธ C2 46 และ D1 35 สำหรับวันนี้ขอให้ทุกท่านเดินทางกลับโดยสวัสดิภาพค่ะสวัสดีค่ะ